Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to this channel where we discuss everything tech. And today we are going to be speaking about robotic process automation. I've got my team here, my A team from Automation Anywhere, and they are the gurus of robotic process automation. So we're going to just have a conversation around RPA and just bring as much value as possible for our listeners, especially people that are in the process of wanting to implement RPA or they are contemplating on embarking on the RPA journey. We're gonna dive into quite a lot of the intricacies of implementing RPA and what RPA is. But before we get into that, I would like our esteemed guests to introduce themselves. I'll start with you, Tine. Tine, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, and just your involvement with RPA? And what is it that makes you so passionate about RPA? Because I know that you're very passionate about robotic process automation.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Hello, everyone. So my name is Tine Nyachimbo. I'm a sales engineer at Automation Anywhere, and I've been in the RPA space for almost 6 years, but I've been in the IT field for close to 20 years now. So what makes me so passionate about RPA is how you can easily, quickly get a project into production. So instead of taking a software development project, which takes like 3 months or six months, even longer, with RPA, you can get something working and running within a few weeks. And it can also help to save a lot of time where people are doing these manual and repetitive steps. So it makes people's lives easier. And a lot of our clients love their jobs after we introduce them to digital assistants that will basically take off that huge workload that takes up a lot of your time. And then you can focus on the more business-centric and human-centric work.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Tine. I'll now move over to Stefan. Stefan, please tell us a little bit about your RPA journey, who you are, and the journey that you've just been on with RPA. I know you're very knowledgeable when it comes to the solutions around RPA because you are the salesman with RPA.
Hi, Sarah. Yeah, and thanks for inviting us. And I've been with Automation Anywhere just over 3 years now. It's been a great journey so far. So I represent Automation Anywhere based out of Gauteng, looking after partners and customers for the company. Before that, I was also in another role with an automation company that I looked and managed partners and customers across Africa and Middle East for another probably 5 or 6 years before that. So, as far as automation is concerned, have been in this industry now probably about the last 9 years. Most of that also in cloud-based type of technologies, and it's truly something that I've seen grown quite extensively over the last number of years. Is the fact that cloud is really driving significant change in how automation plays out with customers and how they can deploy it and the value that they can get back from it. That's also, interestingly, that's also one of our key drivers for Automation Anywhere is the fact that we have deployed a fully cloud-based RPA platform, which customers can consume as they need it, so they can go up and down, and it makes it very flexible for customers to use RPA as they need it. Regarding the general observations in the market, there's just tremendous appetite at this stage for automation. I guess we'll get into some of these concepts in some of the subsequent questions that we're going to go through. But it's truly exciting to be in RPA, and it's actually evolved from just being RPA into what we now refer to as intelligent automation, because there's so many artificial intelligence and machine learning capabilities that's now built into RPA, that RPA is a component, and artificial intelligence, machine learning expands the capability of the RPA platform, hence intelligent automation. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Let's now get into our conversation. Thank you for that introduction, Stefan, and just getting into the details of RPA. Let's then define what RPA is. Robotic Process Automation is such a buzzword, and people, to be honest, are quite intimidated when they hear RPA. People are either clueless or, people just shun away because this is a concept that they don't understand. So, let's define what RPA is in layman's language that any executive would understand. Stefan, do you want to go first?
Yeah, happy to take the first part of the question. So I think we can break it up into the what it means for the business and potentially what it means technically, to go and deploy RPA. So first of all, RPA is a capability. It's a platform that we provide where you can very rapidly build processes, that you can automate processes through a drag and drop interface where you build these what we call bots, essentially. So software robots. So RPA has nothing to do. So even though it refers to robotic process automation, it has nothing to do with the robots that we might see in movies or in documentary shows where it's physical hardware. So it refers more to software that we use to automate business processes. The software happens to run on some local machines, the bot runners, and we then have servers in the cloud that manage the governance and compliance and the scheduling and all these attributes for the software bots. The primary thing with the bots is that the quick time to value that we can get with software bots. If you compare, for instance, having to code something using C# or .NET or Java or some language, it takes a long time and it's a very complex process and it's a costly process. So even if you want to try and integrate things through APIs, for instance, it takes a long time to build the code in order to integrate different systems with one another. And that's what we can achieve with RPA, is that we can integrate different applications. It doesn't matter what application a customer has, whether it's a legacy old application or a new web-based application or a desktop application. We can integrate literally with any application, either through the back end or through the front end. So through the user interface, we can train a bot how to log into a system, go through the different menus, and then start uploading information, for instance, into an ERP system. All of this being done while still applying business logic that is defined by the business. So it gives you tremendous flexibility, and we can build something like this in a very short space of time. So that's conceptually at a high level what RPA is about. So it expands from there, where we can, for instance, take information, unstructured information that's sitting on paper or PDF, and we can train a bot how to read this information from paper and PDF and extract the relevant piece of information from the paper or PDF, so we can do something with it. So taking unstructured data, making it structured, and providing that in a structured format like a CSV file in Excel, where you can then manipulate the data, move it around, etc. So that conceptually, that is, let's call it the baseline of what RPA is. And we'll get into some of the other capabilities shortly. But I do want to make sure that I give some time to Tanay as well, that Tanay can perhaps also expand in some of these areas.
Yeah, thanks, Stefan. I think maybe to put it into simple terms, the word robotic within RPA is standing for those things that you do as a human being on your computer, where you don't actually use your cognitive senses or where you don't think. So you're just doing it repeatedly. You've got a spreadsheet with 1,000 rows and you need to enter this data into an ERP. So you're simply copying and pasting data. So you're not using your brain for doing that. You're just doing something robotic. So we take that process and we automate it. So that's why it's called robotic process automation. So we use a software to mimic the human actions, like what you do with your mouse, the different clicks that you can do with your mouse, keystrokes, copying data from one place to another, all those things. And RPA works via the front end or via the user interface, graphical user interface. So the same way that a human being interfaces with an application, the software robot will be able to do exactly the same thing. So that's what RPA is in a nutshell.
Thank you. So it's, it works with repetitive, mundane tasks, right? That human beings would be doing. You train the robot or the software to be able to do that.